Welcome back to another week. We've made it to match week 24. I'm feeling a little lonely here. We've got a different format this week for you. It's Brock remote, it's Jordan remote, it's the same excitement. Jordan, take us away with the scores.
It's Jordan here for a score update. Last week was a thrilling week. I take down Brock 7-6, which brings the overall scores to, we're all tied up. It's 138-138. Palmer puts up a shocking score of 2, which keeps my dad on the top of the guest leaderboard. Brock, take us away with the first game of the weekend.
We head into Manchester City. They get Everton at home, and boy, they must be licking their lips. Arsenal take down Liverpool. This catapults and revitalizes Manchester City's title push. I think they've got the keys to the title here. Can they hold on? We've seen it before. Will we see it again? Phil Foden with a brilliant performance out against Brentford. And then we see Everton kind of get something a little bit special against Everton. They're a side that likes to punch up. And as they start to drop into this relegation zone, I think there's going to be storylines galore. Keep an eye on this one. I have City winning it 3-0.
City are back. It's as simple as that. They are at home against Everton, 3-1.
Okay, we're headed to the cottage. I oblige. Fulham, man, have we seen them be such a weird team this season? And I really have a hard time putting my finger on what this team is capable of. They've had strikers rotating in and out of the squad. Big January signing. Are we going to see him feature this weekend? I'm not quite sure. And then on the other side, we get Bournemouth, who have just, I think in all stretches of the imagination, have overperformed what is expected of them. Centerpieces like Dominic Solanke that have seemed to put on a show week in and week out. The cottage, it's a hard place to play, and I know Jordan is probably going to give me a free point here. He's going to take Fulham here, and I am going to take Bournemouth. Give me Bournemouth 3-1.
Fulham at home, new striker. We got to go for it. 2-1 to the Cottagers. Come on, you Whites.
We are headed to Anfield. And boy, I tell you what, Burnley will be visiting Liverpool. Wow, what can you say? The second loss of the season, and I think for any stretch of the imagination, this probably feels like the first loss of the season, obviously with the controversy of the Tottenham game. But Liverpool go to the Emirates and register one shot on goal, and that wasn't even what contributed to their goal. They're struggling with injuries. I think that there's a real reason that you saw a lethargic Liverpool. There's no engine in that midfield. I get a little worried for him here. This seems like banana peel behavior, but I just don't rate Burnley as a side to inflict damage on the likes of the Liverpools, the Chelsea. I just don't see them being able to inflict damage. I'm going to go on the safe side of things. Jordan, join me in this. 3-1 Liverpool.
Liverpool lose for the first time in months last week. A lot of uncertainty coming into this game against Burnley, but it's Burnley. Liverpool will get the 3 points, get back to winning ways. 3-1.
Luton Town quickly becoming a fan favorite in the Premier League this season when they are going to host Sheffield United. If you pulled up the script for this game at the beginning of the season, I say, yeah, Sheffield gets it done. This is going to be points for them on the board. But wow, have Luton impressed. 4 goals in back-to-back games. They've had a prolific attack out of nowhere. It's been such a fun team to watch, and being at the Kenny, I'm a Kenny guy. I am a Kenny guy, and I think you're going to see that come through in this game. On the other side, Sheffield United, they just seem to be a team that out of nowhere will get a smash and grab, but in all stretches of the imagination, I haven't seen them put together any impressive performances, while on the other hand, I've been really impressed with Luton Town. I think they have super talented wingers, obviously a striker that's putting the ball in the back of the net, and I think you're going to see this kind of play into the fixture we're going to see. It's going to be Luton Town taking the game 2-0.
Luton Town at the Kinney in a relegation scrap against Sheffield United. Rob Edwards has Luton Town in very, very good form. It's got to continue. 3-1, Luton Town. Wow, wow, wow. Back to you, Baker.
Thanks for tossing it, Jordan. I've got it here. Wolves are going to be hosting the Bees. Brentford come to town, and first of all, let's address the Wolves, right? They've been a side that when players were healthy, they've looked really quite good, but they've struggled with injury hiccups and struggled to put points on the board when maybe they should have. On the other hand, we have Brentford, right? They're a team that came into the season with a lot of expectations, and they've missed their talisman for a good portion of the season. This is the kind of game that having Ivan Toney is so important. I see him going out there, putting in a nice brace and writing himself a pretty hefty check for the summer. Obviously, Brentford have come out and said, Thomas Frank, it's looking like Ivan Toney's going to be leaving in the summer. Stuff that we already know, but when he makes that big money move, throw in the comments, where do you think he's landing? Is he headed to North London? Arsenal? Is he heading to Chelsea? Are they going to throw some more money at a player? I think Ivan Toney is going to be an incredible figure in this game, and Brentford are going to take it 2-1. Jordan, what you got?
Wolves have been in some of the best form in the entire Premier League in recent weeks, coming up against an Ivan Toney-led Brentford team. This is going to be a very, very interesting game, but I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
We head into this fixture here. The Spurs hosting Brighton. Richarlison seems to be finding form, and I'm okay with being out there and hot takes and everything. I think he is probably my least likable player in the Prem. Just kind of a jerk, and he plays for Tottenham. It's easy for me to show my bias there. But he's putting the ball in the back of the net, and it's been a good thing for Tottenham. On the other side of things, Brighton, for how much De Zerbi is inflated, he's piped up, pumped up in the media. I'm even seeing him linked heavily with the job that Jurgen Klopp will inevitably vacate. I don't know. This Brighton team, they seem to have a weird season where they've been at many parts of it unimpressive, and I think it's a very tough ask to go into Hotspur Stadium and try and steal something. And I think you're going to see this game actually end in a 2-2 draw. I think you're going to see them find a point out of it, but it's going to be a hard-earned point where they come flying out of the gates and Tottenham find a way to claw their way back in. I have this game finishing 2-2.
Spurs choke the 3 points at the death last week. They're coming up against a Brighton team who battered Crystal Palace. This is going to be a very good game. But my heart is just telling me lean with home field advantage. 2-1 to Spurs.
The nightcap in England will see Forest play host to Newcastle United. It was a new manager bounce for Nottingham Forest, and we're starting to see things slow down a bit. It's clear to me that Nuno came into the club and really established a tactical identity. When you watch Forest play, you can see what they're looking for, the patterns of play that they're trying to find, but this seems to be a side that is petered out. I think they're tired. The legs are no longer there, and we look at the other side of this fixture, Newcastle, who have a thrilling 4-4 draw with Luton Town of all teams that come into their stadium and make them work for it. But what can be said, you can only play the game in front of you, right? And to see Newcastle find a way to dig themselves out of that game, even get a point out of it, was impressive. I think it shows the resilience of this side. Newcastle's been starting to put things back together after a tough run of form playing in Europe and really at the beginning of the season being in conversations for a title push. And I think we've seen that slow down, but I have Newcastle going on to win this game 3-1.
Newcastle are finally seeming to get back to being healthy, and I think that will result with a win here. They'll get the 3 points, 3-1 over Forest.
West Ham hosting the Arsenal. Wow, it's a quick turnaround with this fixture. We saw it in December when Arsenal has a little bit of a slip up. They lose at home to West Ham 2-0. Declan Rice hasn't been able to beat his former side yet. I think they played twice now. This will be his second time back at the stadium. He was booed the last time they played. West Ham has been a team that has really overperformed expectations. I think it's easy to say that. And then they have incredibly talented players. Jared Bowen scoring. Mohamed Kudus has come in and been maybe one of the signings of the season. And on the other side of it, let's put it out on the plate. Let's discuss it now. I know we have lots of Liverpool fans in the comments, and there's going to be emotion, right? It's an emotional game, and people should never shy away from that. It's a passionate sport, and so wow, what a performance from Arsenal, right? They take advantage of the Liverpool injuries, and they put on the first time that I've seen Liverpool struggle to even create against the team. It's a really impressive performance from start to finish from Arsenal, and I was incredibly proud and impressed of my football club. Looking at this fixture, it's one that Arsenal has to win. They have to find ways to start stringing these games together, and this is a big test in West Ham. They're a team that can really inflict a lot of damage, cause a lot of hard moments for your side, and I think if we see Arsenal come out with a win, you'll see them doing it at a tight margin. It's going to be 2-1 to the Arsenal.
Arsenal, what a win. They were celebrating like they just won the Champions League, but they're not there yet. They have a long ways to go and a big London derby this weekend. I think they'll get the job done. 2-1 to the Gunners.
It's game of the week. Oh, it has to be game of the week. I'm having this reminder. My brain is being taken back to the last time that these two sides played, and there's something that's different going into this one. There is something that is vastly different in this game, and that is Gunnar Tang, a longtime viewer of this channel, is not going to be in the stadium. Obviously, he's there at the first fixture where United have an incredible comeback to win the game. Now we get to see Villa play host. They're really looking to recharge, revamp, and put a staple on this second half of this season. United, though, starting to find a little bit of form. Rashford coming alive a little bit, finding ways to win games in tough areas. And this is a hard one for me to pick, but I'm going to do what my heart's telling me. 2-0 Aston Villa.
Aston Villa against Man United, two teams who need a win, and I think Aston Villa will get the job done at home, 2-1.
It's our last fixture of match week 24. We get to see Palace playing host to Chelsea. Chelsea making a couple of cup runs. It's been impressive. They've been a side that has underperformed in the league by every stretch of the imagination, but we see them making deep cup runs, which I think just goes to show, and I think is a really good thing for their club as they have this young core looking to build experience. And on the other side, wow, Palace kind of coming off the rails here. I know that there's really heavy pressure on Roy here and the job that he's doing with the club. And here's the reality. Their two star players for a great portion of the season have not been on the field. We see Elise go out again with a long-term injury, and it just feels harsh because when we see Eze, Elise on the field together, it's always something special. I think Chelsea's going to find this quite an easy fixture to go on and win. I think you could see Roy Hodgson losing his job after this performance when they lose at home to Chelsea 3-1.
Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. We just never know what to expect. I think this London derby will be one they turn up for. 2-1 Chelsea.